Hey everybody, it's Alara. Welcome back to another installment of Alara Makes a Movie. I know this is going to be long. It's been 2.5 months since I've recorded. I'll go into a little bit of what has been going on and why it's been so long since I've recorded at the end of the video with life update. This is Flosstube 26, is March 26th. Fitting. I have 16 projects to go over with you. 4 of those are new starts. One of them is a finish. I have a finish. It is a tiny finish, relatively speaking, but it's there. I feel very much like I don't have a clue what I'm doing because it's been so long. It's also like 3:30 in the morning. I was debating on whether or not to do this because it's going to take me so long and it's going to be so late when I get done recording, but I thought maybe it would actually help me move it along a little bit. We'll see. I'm fully expecting a 2-hour video. Okay, so let's dive in since it is a lot. Oh, by the way, welcome back to my channel. If you're coming back, thank you for hanging in with me for so long. Like I said, it's been 2.5 months being absent. I know some of you have been eagerly awaiting, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is the first video you've checked out, I don't make short videos, so it is what it is. I did, over the last 2.5 months, hit a milestone. I have now broke the 2,000 subscriber threshold, which blows my mind. I never thought I would be this far in. I don't know. I keep looking down because I have notes propped up and I'm ready for the notes. Anyway, I never thought I'd see myself come this far in this channel. When I started this process of making videos and posting them, I really had no end game with it. It was just a way for me to sort of track my journey and connect with people of like minds, which has been amazing all on its own, to say the very least. That has been absolutely the most rewarding aspect of these whole shenanigans. So I have a small giveaway for today, but that was just kind of in the course of things. I will have a bigger giveaway. Right now it is not really financially feasible for me to do so. As soon as it is, I will definitely have one. So stay tuned for that. It will happen. All right. No particular order other than it was the first, like when I was going through my planner, seeing what all I'd worked on and how many stitches and all that fun stuff. It was just the first time it popped up while I worked on it, or when I worked on it. So first up, and I'm just going to be using the pictures from the last WIT parade, or my beginning, end of year WIT parade. How do you want to say that? It was this year, but for last year. Anyway, I'll be using those pictures because I haven't had an update since then. So this is the Cross Stitch Studio 2023 Mystery Stitch Along. I have not kept up on it. The girl that I was doing it with, that gifted me the pattern, Jenn, she has gotten sidetracked by other projects, which I'm wholly supportive of because she has a deadline to meet before Christmas this year. But my stitching on it kind of got put on the back burner with it as well. I've had other things come up that's just kind of derailed me. But I did get a decent chunk done. The 3rd page is not complete yet, as you can see. And I do believe all the pages across the first row have been released. So, but it's looking super pretty. A lot of confetti. I put in 7,252 stitches since last update. So this is stitched on 30 count linen. mystery linen, something I had in my stash. It's a little bit interesting because of the color to stitch on it, but it's not too bad. It's I think it's like a raw linen. I'm not sure what brand. Oh, I'm kind of going out of order. Whatever. You don't care. Do I care? I don't really care. I'm going to show you my finish next. I'm going to do that first. Oh well. So this pattern, let me dig it out real quick because I did do where'd it go? There it is. I did do a color conversion on it, so I want you to see what the called for looks like in the cover page. So this is Spring. This is by Homespun Elegance, I think is the company that produced it. The artist or the designer is Sandra Sullivan. It is from their Country Spirits collection, Scenes of Spring. But y'all, that does not speak spring to me. I know that samplers and the like, that's, you know, traditional, natural, dyed, whatevers. But y'all, we live when we live now, and I like color. So, back in there later. And I will be drinking water. I'm super dehydrated. And I've been not talking a lot, like out loud, so. But I like color, so here's what it looks like. I started this, this was actually a freebie pattern from Stitching the Springs Retreat, not last year, but the year before it last. And I bought, this is by Valkyrie Stitchworks, who Kat is the one who hosted that stitching, or hosts Stitching in the Springs. This is one of her fabrics. It's a 32 count linen called Elsa. I know she's not had time to dye recently, but this ended up being kind of a collaboration and an honor guard kind of salute to the Stitching in the Springs, because the Kat's friend owns Live and Dye LA thread and fabric store kind of thing. She's actually going to be at the next Stitching in the Springs retreat in the fall, which I'm really excited to be able to meet her. But she is like the main vendor for Stitching in the Springs. And this is using, so it's Kat's fabric, Live and Dye LA. I cannot remember her name to save my life at the moment. Most of her thread, her hand-dyed thread, and then there's some Mrs. Seda silk, some BeStitch Me silk. I had to raid Suki's thread stash while we were there because I didn't have really any thread with me, and I ran out of colors to work with. So there's a little piece of Suki in here, and I love, love, love how it turned out. There is a little bit of specialty stitches in here, the birdhouse top there, and the beehive, just some straight stitches, a couple of French knots for the bunnies. Now the bunnies look a little odd with their eyeballs, but there is no, there's nothing charted for their eyes in the pattern. And with the blue fabric, it looked a little weird. They definitely look like they have hollow eyes. So I decided to fill them in. I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish that yet. I'm kind of just a frame it and stick it on the wall kind of person, because I don't do a lot of knickknacks in my house right now. Probably not until teenagers get out of the house, who are adults now and need to get out of the house. But it's done. Now, this is what I was talking about with, I have a small giveaway. I want to pass the stash. So, I made a working copy when I did this, so the pattern is unmarked. So, if you're interested in this, go ahead and just use Spring. in the comments below. I will link my Google form doc as well. I do require, and I hate having to go over this spiel, but here we go. If you're interested in any of my giveaways, I do require that you fill, it's just your email address, your name, and like what you're known as here in YouTube. And if you want to throw in for like Facebook or Instagram so I can follow you or whatever, you can add that too. It's just basically for your email address so I can contact you if you win, and to be able to match up your email address with your YouTube name. This is to protect both of us. Number one, I don't want somebody emailing me saying they're you, that they won the giveaway before you've had a chance to contact me, and then I have two people saying, well, this is me and I won the giveaway, and I don't know who is the liar of the two. So just to eliminate that, that is why I require the Google Doc email thing. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. Just don't enter the giveaway. But yeah, use spring in the comments, and then I will pick from a comment picker next video. Hopefully it's not going to be 2.5 months or longer before I record again. I really want to get into a better routine. Can't make promises. We all know that I have a not regular schedule when it comes to that. I think that's it as far as like, I don't be 18, yada yada, don't say giveaway, don't say freebie in the comments. Just do spring. Okay, so that's out of the way. Next, I worked on stuff around. I worked on Beloved. This is a Heaven and Earth design. Artwork by Adele Sessler. This is the flipped version. I only worked on this one for a couple of days, so there's I added 1,800 stitches. Oh, the mystery cell I'm doing 1/1 full cross. The sampler was done 2/2 full cross, plus the specialty stitches. I thought I was doing so good already, and nope, still forgetting stuff. All right, Beloved, I am working on, this is a 28 count oatmeal Ada? 25 count oatmeal Ada? That sounds right. I don't know. I don't make cards because I lie to myself and say I'm going to remember what this is. So I think it's a 25 count. It might be a 28. Who cares? Who knows? Whatever. Here it is. So 1,800 stitches. I am working in parked threads and filling in the page. I have discovered, am I making room so that you can see what I did before? What it looked like? Probably not. I have discovered that I really enjoy the small finish type thing of a page finish. So yeah, this is the edge of the page, and I've worked in all the park threads, and I think that's basically where I stopped. I might have added like an actual thread and finished it out, but they now have 7,755 stitches for a total of 2.62%. It is not a lot. If you want to see a lot more of this filled in and looking amazing, check out Jamie at Cross Stitch and Chill. She is doing the regular other way version, but it looks amazing. Every time I watch her and she shows her project, I'm like, I need to get mine out and work on it. And then it doesn't happen for the most part. That's okay. All right. Next is a new start. I forgot it. The thing. Hang on, I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. It's right over here. Maybe. I don't know what I did with it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I don't know what I did with it. It's hiding. So I'll insert a picture. So Dimensions Fall Fairy. I went ahead and picked this up off of 123 Stitch. And I got about 250 stitches in so far. I don't know what percent that is because it's a paper chart. And I'm going to throw some haul in and give stuff in as we go. There was this spring stitching in the Springs retreat that happened. And my friend Shauna came down from Northern Ohio, and of course Suki was there, but Shauna is starting Rivendell, the Home in the Mountains, with Suki and like 5,000 other people. And she bought these awesome, and Suki was telling me about them too. They're from Adam Hart Cross Stitch, ATOM. But she said she bought too many of them and gifted them the extra pack that she had to me, which was super generous. I'm still shocked because I went to like look and I'm like, these are not cheap. Thank you, Shauna. But they are for thread blends. And this is the Milky Way. No, Midnight Galaxy is the name of these. It's got a really pretty sparkle, but you put your 2 colors of floss, if it's a, two color blend, 2 colors of floss here, and you stick your blend part in here. So it's super easy to use, and this one uses blended threads. So a lot of my fancy ladies, of course, use the thread blends. So I'm going to be utilizing those once I get back into this. I have no particular plans for her. She was just kind of one of those, I just feel like a start. And then I didn't touch it again. Okay. Next, I'm gonna throw these on the floor, do I? Not really. Okay, so next I'm going to show you a project. Yes, I totally just actually edited myself because I don't actually feel like putting in a picture. So I sort of still kind of created work for me, but it's a little easier to just cut something out and put something in than it is to find a picture and put it in. Anyway, you don't care about that part. Next I worked on, but this is a project that you've not actually seen before. This is sort of a foster adoption situation of a project that was going to be UFO'd. My friend Kim decided, who is actually, she made her first floss tube. This is her channel name, because I cannot remember it off the top of my head. Kim, I'm sorry. It's this. Go check her out. Her first video is actually really awesome. She's a natural in front of the camera. But she had a project. She got the 2022 Mystery Cell from the Cross Stitch Studio and ended up really not liking it once she realized what the picture was. So for those of you who have not seen it, this is what it is. It's the mechanical seahorse. I really like the octopus one too that they have for sale. And she had gotten a ton of it done. Now she works in tent stitch, but her legs go opposite of mine. So it's a little bit, I have to think a little bit when I'm working on it. But she had gotten a ton of it done. Okay. I mean, let's be real. That's a lot of progress for me and my projects for the most part. So that's where she started off. And then I added 2,475 stitches over, that's the back, over here. Excuse me. I think I had a prompt that was like work in blues, so I just kind of went ahead and did a whole bunch over here. I am going to be going back and going kind of page by page once I start working on this again. I think this was like a lot of white, so it didn't count for the blue part. But that is now at 9,835 for a total of 14.05% complete. If I didn't say it in this segment, this is a 25 count, easy count. I think it's Lugana. Feels like Lugana. Excuse me. I need another drink. I tried to hydrate beforehand and obviously it did not work. So I really like that one. I'm looking forward to when it comes back out again. Someday, eventually. Okay, next I pulled out Spirit of the Phoenix. Let me grab that one. Starting to get a lot of patterns on Pattern Keeper, and I really wish we could sort them, make it a lot easier. So this is a charting creation. Oops, son of a. Charting Creations. This is a Dakota Detweiler artwork after she moved from Haid into Charting Creations. Is it Betsy for Charting Creations? No, Betsy's Cross Stitch Studio. Nikki, over at Charting Creations. Suki and I both emailed her and begged to have this charted. So I am doing this with Suki. We started this at the last fall's retreat for Stitching in the Springs. I had a very paltry start, like whatever that shows. It's still not fantastic, but I did add 1,111 stitches, making a total of 1,391 stitches. I'm at 0.96%. So not quite. This is not quite all black. There is a little bit of 939. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of, I don't know, hopefully you cannot see the reflection that I am seeing. So again, just kind of working page by page. I love that her pages are smaller than Heaven and Earth Designs, because Heaven and Earth Designs page sizes are a little bit cumbersome. Like, you can pay extra and have a large format chart, but I feel some ways about that. So yeah. All right, next up is I worked on Purple Unicorn. This is a artwork by Charlie Darling. This is a kit from Gecko Rouge. I'm finding that Gecko Rouge kits are very confetti heavy, which is fine. It makes amazing detail, but whew, it's slow going. So I am still working on this parked, just because it is so confetti heavy. I only added 400 stitches to this, so you're not really going to see a huge amount of difference from the before pictures. It is what it is. It's okay. I think I only worked on it one day. So yeah, it's got a total of 6,243 stitches in it now. I think, where did I work? Yeah, right in here is where I added the 400. It is at 9.14% complete. I need to get this one out a little bit more often. It was kind of what I was working on when I got together with the girls from my kind of local stitchy group. We try to get together about once a month. Excuse me. And but I've had other priorities take over for that one. All right, next is another new start, and this is actually also a Gecko Rouge kit. I am part of their Gold Club, and my voucher actually came up at the same time their Valentine's Day Amour? How do you say that? That's amore. I don't know. Anyways, the mystery kit for Valentine's Day, and they did announce that it was Lorna Lane. I love her artwork. Absolutely love her artwork. Little blurb on her. Apparently she is a former tattoo artist of like 12 years. It turned like artist, and now she publishes her artwork, and I want like every single one of her kits off of Gecko Rouge. So as soon as I heard it, I was like, yes, please, I am in, and I was not disappointed. Sorry for the glare. Now, Unfortunately, it was limited. There were only 60 kits available. I'm sorry if you wanted it and did not get it, because it's definitely... Now, when I got it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And, you know, partial, you know, not full coverage. Yeah, all that white background and all is charted. And I am stitching it. But there, I didn't realize, I'd not gotten a mystery kit from them before. I did not realize that it was like gift wrapped and like had a bunch of other extra stuff in it, like post-it notes and a pen, and just, I was so impressed. If you have the opportunity and can do it, I definitely recommend it. But they included, like, these are soap flowers that you put in the bath, and then like a hand care little kit that smells really nice. And I will show you, they included the needle minder as well for the kit. Now, I'll be honest, their needle minder's magnet strength is not very good. So it's more like a decorative pin that sticks on your work, because it does not really, like this one especially, really does not, like, I just dropped the needle. I don't know where it went. I'll have to find it, hopefully without not my foot. Sometimes it'll stick on the bottom, and other times it just falls like it did. But that's where I've gotten so far. Now I'm doing this one a little bit differently. Oh, and pretty much if it's a Gecko Rouge kit, it's a 28 count, easy count, even weave, simply because that is the least expensive and my most favorite way to work on it. But I decided to do the background white 2/110 stitch, just to make it go a little faster. And then anything that is not background white, so like the swans will be, I'm working 1/1 full cross. And that will obviously include the swans. Now, the interesting thing about that is going to be deciding where the background ends and the wing begins, because it does sort of bleed right here. There's no defining end of the wing, so I'll have to make some decisions when it comes to that. But I don't know if you can tell, and I actually really like the subtle difference between those. Now there are some like super light colors that are technically background, but I'm not going to fuss over 1 and 2 stitches. That was partly my motivation in doing it like this. Because I have a lot easier time starting and ending, not really ending, starting 1/1 full cross than I do starting 2/110 stitch when I cannot do a loop start method, like if I cut the threads, which I did cut the threads off the kit, and the lengths ended up being a little shorter than I would want to work for a loop start. I don't know why I told you all that, but that's what's happening with this piece. I got 4,900 stitches in. Now that's full cross 10 stitch, didn't matter. I didn't, you know, for the stitching games and stuff, you have to count 10 stitches as half stitches, literally like half a stitch. Anyway, that is 2.57%. So that's going to be gorgeous. I'm excited about this one. Okay. Next, right after I got that and started it, I actually went camping. I go down to Georgia, off the coast of Georgia, to Cumberland Island. It's been a yearly trip of mine for the last few years. And I just take stamped kits to work on when I go camping. So I don't really have like hard numbers for you, but in the car I worked on my carousel horse. Grab the cover sheet. Yeah. Oh, there's my scissors. I've been looking for those. I gotta quit doing that to myself. There it is. This, I believe, is a Dimensions Kit Southwest Carousel. I don't remember who pointed me in the right direction, but I appreciate that. Unfortunately, this is a ripped off version because it's a stamped kit. I've gone into detail many times about how I feel about those, so if you're interested in that, go watch my old videos. So here's the back, so you can kind of see where I've been working. I worked on this in the car while we were driving. So there's that, and here's a picture of where it was before from my whip parade. I don't know if you can really, you'll be able to really tell what's been done and what's not been done, but that is what it is looking like. So I filled in, yeah, this whole feather is done except for like one stitch and then one color here. I did start kind of color completing while I was driving just so I didn't have to keep looking at the legend. But so yeah, it's coming along. This just comes out when I go camping or when I'm outside, because I don't really care if it gets a bunch of dirt on it or whatever. It's gonna get washed thoroughly anyways once it's done. And then while we were actually at the campsite, I stitched every day. Sometimes not for very long, because, you know, we were still doing other stuff. Mostly, though, I sat in camp and relaxed. Can I get it out? This is one of the bigger stamped kits that I have. Again, I feel like this is probably... Oops, that's not going to go out. John Enright's artwork. It's very, very reminiscent of that. Dolphins in the ocean. But I feel like this is very, very reminiscent of his artwork. And I got... again, I don't know if you'll be able to really tell where I had done what I've done, but not even most of the fish. I had started work on this angelfish. And here's the back, so you can kind of see where I've worked. So I got most of a Q-snap done while we were camping. And here's where it looks, what it looks like. Got that angelfish done. Started getting a little bit of the water reflection in the dolphin. And then a lot of the bubbles and water. So it's a big piece for a stamped kit. Not my biggest, but still pretty big. There. More than halfway done. Woo. Okay, next is another new start, and this was also, I also need to include that this was a another gift. Kayli from Kayli 10 Stitch, who owns the I'm gonna put that back later. She owns the sewingshop.ca. As she is in Canada, and she contacted me and very kindly asked if I would want to stitch one of her pieces. And I said yes, absolutely, because holy cow, if you have not checked out her shop recently, do so. She has some amazing, amazing artwork in her shop. Like beautiful, beautiful. Like if you like fancy ladies but don't necessarily want to do beadwork or mirabilias, and you like full coverage, don't walk to her shop, because they are amazing. She so kindly gifted me, and I told her, I was like, I can't decide. And I gave her two that I would really love to do, thinking, you know, just pick one of them for me, and she ended up sending me both of them. So thank you again, Kayli. That was amazing. So this is Delphine. And I absolutely love, 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 love the colors in this one. She's got a few of them now that have that kind of pastel, pastel, I've been watching Darren, pastel colorway. But I love her expression. She's very, not necessarily haughty, she's just very self-confident, like she knows what's up. She knows what's up. Definitely not an awesome spring piece. Now, of course, I gravitate to a lot of dark pieces too, as you well know, because I really should temporarily rename my channel Lake 310 Stitcher. And this is Genevieve. And sorry for the glare, trying to get, yeah, it is what it is. Now there's not a ton of 310, but it does start with a lot up in the corner where I always start up in the upper left-hand corner. But, she's just gorgeous. And these blues, ooh, love it. And I started her on 28 count. This is some of my China fabric. I repurposed whatever other project I was going to do on it because it was like the perfect size. And I said, I would rather start this one. I am doing this in 10 stitch in honor of Kayli. And I got in 9,408 stitches. I am at 3.25%. Now, this is almost all 310. You can kind of see a little bit of the, I think it's 939 that started to come in. And then all of this is 310 so far, and it obviously keeps going down. This right here, holy cow, that was some confetti. Like, most of this is onesies, twosies, threes. Every once in a while there was like 10. But it was fun. It was fun. And I didn't mind doing the 10 stitch as far as starting when it came to the 310. Once I was into the confetti, I was like, oh my god, this sucks. But I'm going to keep on keeping on. Because once I had something to anchor, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, this, like, I can feel it got pretty thick in there. So, but yeah, that's where I got with her. I worked on her for almost 2 weeks. Because that's just how much fun I was having with it. Right. I really don't know how Genevieve got thrown in there when she got thrown in there because whatever. I finished spring at the retreat. I felt that was pretty appropriate since that's when I started it, was at the retreat as well. And then I also worked on Boudreaux. Oh, what am I doing? Let me show you what he's going to look like. This is the puppy that I'm doing for my friend as a memorial piece for his German Shepherd that passed. In my last video, I talked about maybe UFOing him, but after a few of you messaged me so kindly with your experiences as well, I have decided to keep on with him. So I pulled him out and worked on him at the retreat. I got just over 1,100 stitches done on him. And I worked... I think I finished out this row, like this diagonal, and then came back up and worked an entire another diagonal. There we go. But I mean, as you can see, it's got a lot of tone of purple, but I think because it is such a big piece that once I actually get into the browns of the dog, I'm sorry if you can hear the door upstairs rattling. My cat's trying to come down here. I kicked her out. I think once I get down to the browns, it'll be fine. So I'm just right now I'm dealing with the shadow. There's a lot of confetti in the curtains up here, so that slowed down quite a bit. But yeah, he is going to be coming out not a lot more this year, but more for sure this year, and then I think next year he'll end up being a focus piece. I also worked on, sorry, speaker noise, another piece that I picked up at the retreat a couple years ago. This is BB Sampler from the Assemblaire. This is a reproduction piece. Usually I'm not super big on samplers, but I really love the story behind this. So I've talked about that a couple of times. So I got, I don't know how much I got into it. Not a whole lot, because I worked on this like the last day before we were done with the retreat. And I had it in a Q-snap, so I only worked over as far as I had the Q-snap. But I added some more alphabet. There we go. And I started to do, they call it a running stitch. And the instructions on this are nuts. Like, I have instructions on what to work on when and what to do, but it's very... I finished raw edges to prevent fraying. I did finally actually do that. Like, start in upper left-hand corner, 3 inches in and down with 2 strands of sage green floss and needle. All the alphabets are worked in cross-stitch over 2 threads of linen. Easy enough. Second alphabet is outlined in double running stitch. A and B are outlined in dark green. C, D, E, F, G, and half of H in sage green. The other half of H in dark green. I, K, and half of L in sage green. The remainder of the alphabet in medium green. Now, luckily, this chart does have, like, it's handwritten for what symbol goes where. But then it says, you know, large alphabet is outlined in medium green. So it's not like reading a regular chart, at least not in my head yet. But it has the double running stitch just says stitch over 2 threads and under 2 as far as necessary. Return and fill in the blanks, but it doesn't say how many strands of floss to use. So I started using 1 strand, and I'm telling you what, I thought backstitch was hard. The running stitch, like, you start and you go every other, like, where you would break for a backstitch, and then you have to go back and fill it in. But it's not like, y'all, my head can't wrap around this. I'm gonna have to backstitch it. It's just gonna have to be what it is. Because this running stitch is for the birds. Like, I'm gonna have to frog this and redo it. But I don't know if you can kind of see where it is right here. It's not super thick. And then here, I don't know, does that look thicker? Should I use 2 strands? I don't know. I'm afraid if I use 2 strands, I'll run out. But I don't know, like... Keep closing it. I don't know if that's going to work. Hang on. There. See the difference? I don't know. Is there a difference? Can you see a difference? What should I do? Help me. I had planned on picking this up when I got back home, and then that running stitch, guys. Like I said, I will actually go back and do that as a back stitch. But knowing if I should use 1 thread or 2, or does it even matter? Help a girl out. I don't know. Okay. Starting to get chaotic, so I need to put this back in here. Okay. Alright. Next to last one. I worked on another Gecko Rouge kit. This is also by Lorna Lane, and this is readily available. Dragon. Oh, it's so vibrant. I love it so much. Her artwork is just... Oh. I wish she was my tattoo artist. And I only got 602 stitches in. I pulled him out for a prompt for St. Patrick's Day, the green one. And then I forgot to even like post before the prompt thing ended, so whatever. So I now have, this is where it was before, I now have 2,751 stitches for a total of 3.37%. It is not a full coverage. And I just added the green in his wing. So it was fun. Got a little more color in there. It's kind of cool seeing a little tiny bit of the outline happening with his wing. And yeah, I had a night where I was ready to stitch, but I needed to serge the edges of some fabric, so I did that for quite a few pieces. Okay, last one is also another new start, and this one is, so Suki is doing a bunch of, if you follow Suki, you know she's got like a Lord of the Rings wall planned. Now, I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not like a super fan or anything, but I saw this finished in one of my groups and just drooled over the finished piece. This is by Tilton Crafts. One to rule them all. Artwork by Eric Stein. Oops. Shut up, cat. But I mean, that just pops. Like, the finished piece is just amazing. So I was like, I want to play with the Lord of the Rings Sal. So I got that one. They had a coupon code that I used as well, so was not quite as expensive as it could have been. I may have inspired a few other people to get it. Suki and Shauna and Sabrina. Now Sabrina, my friend Sabrina also just put up her first floss tube for Sabrina's Crafting Corner. I think she did amazing for her first video as well. Definitely go check her out. Give her some love. She does a lot of Disney princesses and just, she's got a lot of fun stuff in the works too. But this is where I started laughing at myself because my new start with Genevieve was 310. What was the other new starts? Well, obviously Swans, not Fall Fairy, not so much either. But with Dragons and everything, I'm like, everybody's like, you must be sick of 310. No, apparently not. Because 700 stitches later, now there's really, as far as like total piece goes, it's not bad. It's like 10% black. It's really not that bad. But again, I went over to the edge of the page and I'm trying a different, I noticed in Genevieve, I just did a 1-stitch feather into the next page and I can still kind of see a page line. So I'm trying a little bit differently. Try not to hurt my brain too much as far as what stitch overlaps where. Yeah, 700 stitches and that's 0.87% done. So that's fun. If you want to join us with any of your Lord of the Ring pieces, Instagram, the hashtag is Suki made me LOTR. Because yes, she inspired lots of people to start the Home in the Mountains piece, which I totally caved and also bought because it's expensive. Like if you want to get the licensed version from Golden Kite, it is not cheap. Their patterns can be very expensive. However, their sales and promotions stack. So it was on sale, and then if you buy 3 pieces, it's another 30% off. And some of their pieces are like stupid cheap, like $2 and $8 and things like that. So I stacked it and got it for less than what the sale price was. So I did get the standard version, which is really close to like a regular size heaven, like a big regular size Heaven and Earth design. I didn't going to do the blends, so I will actually need to invest in some more of those Atom Heart blend thread things. But again, even though I'm not like a super fan of Lord of the Rings, this picture is just, I want to live there. So did that, and I did get, stop closing. I did end up getting like a cute little cheapy pattern to go with it that I would definitely consider stitching. I'm not sure how, they did have a bigger version of it, but I wasn't willing to pay the money for it. So I think if I do it on a small enough count fabric, or a high enough count fabric where the stitches are small, it might reduce the pixelation enough to make it look kind of cool. So I might make this a tiny stitch piece. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The other one I didn't even bother uploading in Pattern Keeper because it's like a cat and it looks like crap. But it was $2. So all right, that's it for the whips that I did. So all in all, not counting my finish because that was a paper pattern, and not counting the stamped cross stitch kits or the other sampler, I did 41,613 stitches over 2.5 months. So like, I don't know, maybe 19,000 a month. So a little under 1,000 stitches a day. That's not terrible. I'll take it. I made a mess. Let me take a drink so I can reorient myself. Now, next I'll go into, I have a little bit of haul, not a whole lot. I picked up just a couple of things at the retreat, and Hobby Lobby had their crazy sale going on. I went over and like picked over the bones that was left of the clearance section after everybody else knew about the sales. And I did pick up a couple of kits that were like really cheap for dimensions, and some fabric and some thread I went ahead and picked up off my shopping list. And I went ahead and picked up some floss that was also like stupid cheap, like 23 cents a skein and 43 cents or something. I don't know. Really cheap. I do also want to say, in the last 2.5 months, if I have forgotten anything like that somebody has given me, I sincerely apologize, because it's been crazy. There's been some things going on, so if I've put it away and didn't write it down, I may have, I won't realize it until I see it again. So I'm definitely not excluding you, not being ungrateful. I just don't remember at this point if I've put anything away that I shouldn't have yet. So that being said, I got, what do I want to show you first? I have stuff so everywhere right now. It's making me a little crazy. Okay. Oh, another thing I did, I think this is what I was forgetting. So one of my Stitchy games, I'm not going to name the Stitchy game because I don't think it's I think it's kind of like an invite only. Sorry, but I don't know if I'm okay to announce it. I did win a chart, and I don't know if she watches my channel, but if she does, hopefully she knows who she is, and thank you. I picked out from Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Unicorn Spring by, I do not remember, David Penfound. A lot of people are doing the Waterhole Masters and North American Mammals and things like that. I love them, but those are not something that I would necessarily stitch. How did you get down here? Okay, my cat's gonna start yelling at me. Hi. Apparently the teenager upstairs got tired of listening to her bang the door. Anyways, they're not necessarily ones that I would stitch myself, but I'm definitely loving watching Jemima's Waterhole Masters coming together. Oh, it's so gorgeous. It looks like a photograph. But I was able to get a hold of my own David Penfound that I was like, oh, I would totally stitch that. And that's Unicorn Spring. Isn't it pretty? Those colors. Y'all, I'm not necessarily sick of 310, but I definitely am. I'm definitely like, oh, color when I see it. And I'll be ready to get some colored, like I need to make sure I have some colorful whips in my rotation, just so that I don't get sick of the 310. I have the, if you watch Suki's channel, she showed the Green Hills Riolis kit, which is just the oh, by the way, anytime I show one to rule them all, it's just going to be my precious. That's just how it's going to be known from now on. But same with the Green Hills one. It's just the Shire because it's the Shire, but it's also like super green and like spring colors. Spring is my absolute favorite season, so I'm starting to like itch a little bit more for those like really colorful, bright things. That's kind of a big one though, the Unicorn Spring Max Color. So I don't know if I have fabric. I might now that I picked up a few more pieces, but we'll see. So when I won that chart and I had to go looking to pick the chart out that I won, I was like, oh, well, it's on sale. So I bought one as well, because that's what I do. But this is Raven Phelan. I forget what this is called again already. Divine. This is a mini chart called Divine. Divine something. Hang on. I lost the chart. Mini Divine. Yeah. Transformation. Mini Divine Transformation. By Michelle Lee Phelan is what she is listed on Heaven and Earth Designs website, but she also goes by Raven Phelan. Gosh darn it, I can't poke buttons and talk at the same time apparently. You muck up. If you are familiar with Diamond Art Club, she goes by Raven Phelan on Diamond Art Club for their pieces that they have. Look, kids, more black. But it's so pretty. I also picked up a Selena Fenwick. Gosh darn it. Rainbow. Rainbow Dreams. Again, I just need some color in my life as well. I don't know when I'm going to start it, but I got it. Because I can never have too many unicorns, apparently. And then this was also, this was a freebie on her Facebook. Sarah from Total Cross Stitch offered in her group, what is this called? Unicorn Moon. Just a little one. Again, super dark. I don't know how many 310, but there's going to be a lot of like the 939 as well in there. Just a silhouette of the unicorn. And okay, so I've shown you all the electronic pieces that I have acquired and been gifted since I last saw you. I forgot to show you one. Because I set it aside. And that's how my brain works. I set it aside, it was not in my list anymore, and so it didn't exist. Y'all are probably like, haven't you been working on Drgons of the Sabbat? Like a lot? Yes. Yes, I have. So, Ann Stokes, this is a Paine Free Crafts chart. Artwork by Ann Stokes, Drgons of the Sabbat. This was gifted to me by Darren last year. Yes, last year. And I started it. And it was in my whip parade. And in my whip parade, it was just the outline of the outside of the dragons circle. Now, Darren and I have a challenge. If you follow Darren, you know. He is to finish Mini Chop Frog I am to finish the outside black by the end of the year. Whoever wins a chart. I work on this now every other day. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. I don't want to take it out of the Q-snap because of that though. So when I move the Q-snap, I promise I will record before I stitch on it again. I have added 11,608 stitches since my whip parade. That's not enough. I should be down here now. I am way up here, so I still have over 10K stitches before I can consider this caught up, because we're almost a quarter of the way through the year already, which is nuts to think about. But I figure, you know, every 3 months I need to be a quarter of the way through. Yeah, I'm not there yet. But it does have 30,206 stitches in it so far. I am exactly 5% on this complete. I have a lot to go. A lot to go. Cannot believe I forgot to show you that. Anyway, it is like 4:30 in the morning. Give me some slack. Give myself some slack. Okay. Where were we? So hopefully anybody who skedaddled because they were like, oh, she's done with stitching, I'm out. Sorry. Okay. At the retreat, I picked up, I did not buy willy-nilly. I had a plan. And this plan is going to be for this project right here. No, just kidding. Yes. Is that the one? Hang on. I don't know. Is that the one I decided on? Yes. Son of a gun. Okay. This is a piece. I'm throwing my tablet at you. Look out. Stay up till 4:30 in the morning. It's sort of like being drunk. 2x2 stitch art. Sampler number, whatever number that it is. I'll put it on the screen. All right. Got that in your mind? Yeah? Good? Okay. On this, oh, that's really true to color. That is so pretty. Beautiful yellow fabric. This is by Live and Dye LA, hand-dyed fabrics. The color is Dole Whip. It is a 32 count Lugana. So pretty. With Live and Dye Autumn Splendor. Oh, isn't that so? That is going to be gorgeous. This is not, I need 4 hands. This is not my usual, what you call it, palette. But that's kind of why I like it. It was sort of not necessarily out of my comfort zone, but something different to stare at and look at. I have no idea when I'm going to stitch this, but I have a project plan now that I can start. I have a lot of stash, but I also have a lot of plans for that stash. It's not just, I have 10,000 pieces of fabric and I don't know what to do with it. It's almost all assigned. I just need to live like 500 years in order to utilize it all. So that'll be stitched like 2/2, I think, probably. I have to refigure my, I have to look at the measurements and things like that to make sure that that's the actual plan for that. All right, gotta get put away now. So that's all. That's what I picked up at the retreat. I did have a larger piece of Monaco come in from 123 Stitch. It was on back order, and I have not tried Monaco yet. I have heard good things about it. So it's a 28 count piece. I'm not sure what I'm... Oh, I forgot one. Not sure what I'm going to put on it yet. I forgot because it was... I have some parts of the Dark Queen of the Earth in here, which my bead pack finally shipped. I'm very excited. I have to check tracking. That should be in anytime. Anytime now. I only ordered it last July. Poor Leslie has had so many issues with shipping and customs and orders being... I feel for her, so... But that's almost all ends have been tied. So this... Where do we get this? Contemporary Cross, I believe, is the... Yes, Contemporary Cross. My friend Nana had started a piece, and she showed it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the most adorable, weird piece I've ever seen. And I don't even remember what it's actually called. Something like For Snow or something like that. We just call him Jeremy. Now, once I read the title, I was like, well, crap, now I can't unsee him just sticking his tongue out trying to catch a snowflake. Because when I first saw it, I thought he was like looking at the camera going, and that's what cracked me up about it. But she was so kind to gift this to me, and I need to start him. Something bad. I need to figure out, now that I have some more fabric, what he's going to fit on and actually start him. Again, a darker piece, but I love him. And I love that the artist's signature is still in the charted artwork. Love that. Okay, now that's the last of my charts. The one where I forget to do things. Okay. Now, Hobby Lobby acquisitions. The first one is a Dimensions kit. Normally $30, on sale for $6. It's pretty flamingo. Isn't that pretty? Now, I'm not like... This isn't necessarily one that I would be like, oh yeah, I gotta have this. But, you know, for $6, yeah, I'd stitch that. Heck yeah. I do regret leaving a Riolas kit there. It was of sunflowers, but it was a little more expensive, and I was kind of like topping out my budget already. This is also a Dimensions kit, and this is Garden Bouquet. Well, Floral Flamingo is the name of the last one. Garden Bouquet. Again, not necessarily one that I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta stitch that, but when it's as cheap as $6, I'll go ahead and put some stitches into it in all my spare time. Y'all, I swear, collecting the patterns and kits is half the fun of the hobby. Right? Right. Okay, and then I picked up... So this is Hobby Lobby's brand. It's a satin floss, but it was on sale for like 23 cents a skein. So I picked up like 10 skeins of it, which is all I had. I just bought them out. I probably figured one of the samplers to do with it, just because it's pretty. Let's see, a toile was on sale as well, so I picked up a little variety of the toiles that they had. I think I had like 3 skeins of this dark and like 3 skeins of the black and just some random ones. Just because I don't have a huge, like, yes, I have DMC, like the full set a couple of times over, but as far as like random pretty threads and things, not really, not a whole lot. So it's nice to have some options. There's another one that I picked up. And then just fleshed out it's mostly the 1 through 35s that I was short on. Or getting there anyway. My nose is starting to get red because I can't breathe, which happens when I talk. All right. And then I'm not gonna like take these out and go crazy over them, but well, actually this one, do I want to take this one out? Yeah, I'll take this one out. This is an 18 count vintage Ada, but it's a printed I thought that was really pretty. Now these I don't have a clue what I'm putting on. This was just stash building. I was already at Hobby Lobby, and I've been out of like extra fabric to work with for a little while now, so I figured, yeah, pick up a few that I know I can probably utilize. And I've got a few of those samplers that are a little bit smaller, a little on the smaller side. And then I picked up 4 other pieces. These are all Zweigart. This is a 46 count linen in Oat Bristol that I want to try some tiny stitching, or I'll do a, 2 over, or 1 over 2 or whatever. 2 over, yeah, 1 over 2. A 32 count ice. 32 count Murano. 32 count Belfast linen, just a white, and a 28 Cashel linen. It's also just white. So again, I do have a lot of patterns that, like full coverage, that I don't have fabric for right now. Not that I'll be able to stitch them all, but whatever. We're not talking about that right now, right? Right. Okay. I did forget, at the retreat, one of the gals went around and passed out. She had these little bags, and she stuck skeins of, like a skein of floss for everybody in there. She had some lip balm. Sarah, I forget what else was in there. I'm sorry. But it was super sweet. Like, I mean, that she thought of everybody to do that. I'm like, I should totally do that. I don't know what I would do it with, but I should totally do that. And then I forgot about, Kat did, little freebie bags of stuff. And, oh, man down. But she did some floss cards with Stitching in the Springs 2023. And I did forget, I got, and then she gave us fingers aren't wanting to work. A needle threader needle minder. I do have to add one more magnet so that I can like leave the magnet on it but still take it off to use it. So and then the super adorable there, I gotta flip the camera. So 2023, isn't that pretty? It's got this tiny little clasp on it. And I think what I'm going to do is I have Boudreaux's threads on a ring, and I need to switch it out so it stops to one of the ones that like screw closed. And I think I'm going to stick that in between where the card, like how I have them organized. I need to know where the front is and where the end is to know, so I can switch through them or flip through them easily. And I think I'm going to clip that in between them all so I can find easily. So hopefully that'll work. And then I forgot about, I got a mystery floss grab bag from Live and Die as well. Now these are not exactly what came in the bag because we did do a little bit of swapping. Because there were 5 bags and all 5 were bought by the ladies at the table that I was sitting at. I may have started that. And when I pulled everything out, I was like, oh my gosh, these are so pretty. Everybody went and grabbed them. So, now these were not labeled. I know these are standard for her colors. I did not think this through. I'll just hold them up, I guess. This one I know is Gamora, because it says Gamora. And the rest of these did not have labels, and I don't remember what they're called. Now these are not silks, these are overdyed cotton threads. Now this one has a really slight variegation that I don't know. Yeah, it's coming through a little bit. Apparently, really super bright LED lights is the answer to all your miscolor camera woes. My husband rebuilt our table while I was at Cumberland, and right when I got back, we installed 2 more work lights for the shop that are like burn your retinas bright so that we can see what we're doing when we're working. But these are all showing up really, really true to color, so worth it. So, like a lot of really, really pretty flosses in that one grab bag. So, okay, now I think I've remembered everything. As far as gifts and acquisitions. Okay. Yes? Okay. Plans. When I went to Cumberland, before I went to Cumberland, I had started like, okay, this is what these are the projects that I want to have done. This is what I need to get done on them. I had kind of a rotation going. Yeah, as soon as I went to Cumberland, the only thing I remembered that I really wanted to work on by the time I got back, excuse me, was Dragons of the Sabbat. Everything else I was like, what was I supposed to work on again? I have a temperature chart, the temperature potions from Teeny Weeny Cross Stitch. Does that sound right? Maybe? I can't remember. Caffeinated Jenn sent me the chart, so it didn't like, it's not sticking who it's from. But it's the Magic Potion cell, which they didn't bother labeling with their name, which is very helpful when you want to know where something came from. I'll put it here. Anyway, I haven't touched that since the end of last year. I've done nothing on it. So I need to get that. I'm like, I have to actually get on that, because I don't want it to be 20 years and me trying to figure out temperatures and all that. So I have decided, as I mentioned earlier, that Dragons is going to be an every other day piece. That way I can still work on it very consistently, but I'm not doing it like every day in a row, 5 days in a row and getting really burnt out. And then I think I'm actually finding if I make myself stop stitching at the end of a day on a project, I actually post on Instagram when I do that. If I'm like, oh, I'll just work on this for 3 or 4 days and post at the end of the 3 or 4 days so that I'm not like clogging up Instagram, which only I worry about, really. And then at the end of those 4 days, I don't remember to post. So hopefully that will help with that. But so when you work on something every other day, the weeks flip-flop as to which day you're working on them. So I have also not touched Face of a Mermaid since obviously the Whip Parade. And she is supposed to be on the Mermaid Monday sale, which there have been a few people that have jumped on that, and I feel really bad that I have not participated at all since the beginning of the year, basically. So I'm going to bring her out again every other Monday when Dragons is not falling on that Monday. I think I was starting to feel a little pressured with every Monday having to bring her out. And once I feel pressured for hobbies, that's it, game over. And then every other Tuesday can be a Temperature Tuesday sal with myself right now, because I don't know if anybody else is doing that But I'll put that hashtag in there in case anybody wants to join me if you're working on on a temperature chart and maybe having some trouble like feeling motivated or to pull it out, maybe having kind of a scheduled thing. Temperature Tuesdays. So that will be coming back into a regular rotation. I've actually utilized a planner to plan, and I've written in when those days fall so that I can look at it and say, okay, today I need to pull this out. Every other day besides Dragons and those other two pieces is SweetWee. I have no plans for, oh, I should work on this or I should work on that. Yes, a little bit like with Boudreaux, I want to pull him out more, but I'm not going to say on these days I will work on him. That's too much rigidity for me. I need some structure with flexibility. So hopefully having basically every other day to go, what do I feel like working on today? Will help with that. I think maybe what I will do is if I have a day where I'm like, I have no friggin' clue what to work on, then I will sort of have a small pool to work from. I've actually fostered out my project to Suki for the Sorceress to finish the backstitching because it was seriously like stopping me from working on really old whips. So that has sort of like broken that bubble. I got my wolf pack out and serged the edges because they were starting to fray. I have them over there like ready to go. Boudreaux's going to stay out. I'm now that I've gotten this filmed and I can kind of put away stuff that I've worked on but maybe don't necessarily think I'm going to pull out for a while. I'm going to put all those away, and I'm actually going to have a good hard think about what would I like to prioritize in my I don't know what to work on days. We'll see how that goes and what comes out of that. I think I may actually also UFO some projects. None of them will be cross-stitch projects. I don't think. Pretty sure not. No. The ones that I'm thinking of UFOing are things that were given to me by like my mother, that are embroidery projects or like needlepoint projects that I don't necessarily have any attachment to other than they were in my possession. I have enough projects now that I need to start like kind of prioritizing what do I really want to work on? What do I want to see finished on my walls, and not necessarily feel that I have to do something and finish it simply because I own it. Now that does bring a little bit of regret into starting everything I own as far as kits and stuff go, because that might be a little harder to, because I don't necessarily want to like actually bin them, like throw them in the trash. But I think getting pieces that are already started to into someone else's hands can be a little trickier. So leave me a comment if you think I should maybe offer them up, not necessarily as giveaways, but just say, hey, I have this. Whoever's interested in it, the first comment that says, yeah, I would want to do that, send it my way. That will probably be something that will happen if you guys think that would be something you'd be interested in. Seeing as how it's not cross-stitch, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. I know a lot of people are multi-craftual, but I don't know how extensive that is. So leave me a comment if that's something that you might be interested in seeing. If I have some projects that need to be adopted out and people think they might be interested, I would definitely do that. Shop update. Patty, I have not forgotten about you. Nana, I have not forgotten about you. Judy, I have also not forgotten about you. Hopefully you all know who you are and why I'm saying your name specifically. Bags. I was so sick over the winter that my primary business is very far, not very far behind again, but far enough behind that I have to prioritize that. Yes, I stitch a lot, but that's my downtime. Like, and I don't really do anything else in my downtime except stitch. I don't have a commute time because I work from home. I can childcare from the whole time when I'm working during the day and then going to stitch. My, his playroom is right there. So I don't want you guys to think that, well, you should have been not stitching and getting some more work done. I wasn't doing much, if anything, when I was that sick. So that being said, I've had to really concentrate now that I've finally gotten over everything from the winter on catching up, which means bags got totally thrown to the back burner. I really wanted to take some to the retreat. That didn't happen. Because I've been prioritizing the work time that I have for those. Now, that being said, I am not giving up on bags. I just had to put them on the back burner. Even my husband was like, maybe once you get this next batch of hammocks done, you can take a week off and actually work on your passion, which was amazing to me that I don't know. My husband's amazing. I don't know why I'm always surprised when he keeps being amazing. But that also got me thinking, some fees and things are starting to get to the re-up position of the year from when I put everything in place last year. And I have decided that I may have been a little over optimistic about how much I would be able to do. So the website is probably going to get retired. I think I'm actually going to, I know I had talked about the Etsy fees and how, yes, they're expensive, blah, 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 blah. So I will have to adjust some, I may not even have to adjust bag prices, but I may have to look at that again. That being said, I'm thinking of moving when I do get things made and everything. It'll go into an Etsy store. I think there is a point that you have to have enough business to start. There comes a point where Etsy to start with is fantastic, and then when you grow your business to a certain point, that's when the fees and things like that become financially, they don't make sense at that point. That's when you move to a website. Kind of did it backwards. Again, thought I was going to have a lot more time to do what I wanted to do with it than I have. So yeah, that being said, Patty, I've got yours. Done? Almost done? Very close to being done. Again, Judy, I have not forgotten about you. Nana, I know. And I'll do that before that happens. I think that's all I wanted to say about the shop. Okay. Hour and a half. I was pretty close. So, and hopefully it's less than 2 hours if I don't babble on incessantly about life update, which is now. If you are not here for any of that kind of stuff, thank you so much for hanging out with me, taking a look at my projects that I've been working on. Hope you come back and visit again next time I put up a video. So if you are going to stay and hang out with me, thank you. And yeah, let's get into what's been happening over the last 2.5 months. So after I filmed my whip parade, I was sick again. It wasn't as bad. It was just a cold, but another 2 weeks. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm so tired of being sick. I was sick for our, we had a winter hammock hang for our business at the end of January. It went really well. I was at the house most of the time just because I was just under the weather and I didn't have anybody to watch the little one. And it was kind of miserable. It was rainy and gross and whatever. So that did go well. And then what, end of February? Yeah, last 2 weeks of February, I was gone for the Cumberland trip, which was amazing. I will actually insert at the end of the video here a clip that I took. We hike about 3 miles in to get to the camp. I hiked in, everybody else rode bikes. So I actually really didn't have much of I carried my food pack. But my big pack was hauled in by my girlfriend, that she had an electric bike, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, we did nothing but eat, sleep, and recover for most of the week. It was a long trip. It was a full 8 days on the island. 7 days. Monday to Monday, basically. We got there Monday morning, and then we left the next Monday morning. It was warm. It was not February weather, even for Georgia, Florida. He was in the like 70s and 80s all week. And I didn't do a whole lot of like exploring. We went to the beach a couple of times. Everybody kind of did their own thing a few times. I really just wanted to try to recover mentally during that trip. Over the winter really took kind of a hard toll on my mental health. I had not been in a good state for quite a while. That's partly why I have not recorded in so long. That sort of did compound it, where I just was not feeling like I could put myself in any kind of way out there, whether I was talking about myself or talking about my projects. I was not up for it. A few of you have reached out over the course of the last two and a half months to check on me. I so appreciate that. I don't know if it's a weird concept for me that I'm in people's minds when I'm not like in front of them physically. Like, it just, I mean, yeah, obviously I think about other people when they're not in front of me, but I've always struggled with feeling not important to matter to people enough for them to even think about me when I'm not there. So to have people reach out really, really touched me and helped a lot. So anyways, so yeah, and then, so I got back the 1st of March, 2nd of March, something like that. And on the 9th, 10th, and 11th was the retreat. So I had a little bit of a break at home, got some work done, and then off to the retreat. And Suki came over, and Shauna came down, and missed Kristen because she didn't come. But I'll see her next month. No, it's March. May is when I'll see her. Let's see, who else? I don't want to keep naming names, because now that I've started naming names, I'm like, crap, I'm going to forget people that were there, and I don't want them to think I forgot about them, so I'm going to stop naming names. And that was good. That was a good visit with everyone. Let's see, I've gotten back. I'm trying to think, like, the last 2.5 months, what all has happened. Like I mentioned, my husband tinkered with the house and built a table, and while I was gone. Got the kiddo registered for kindergarten. That's exciting. I've got 3 of the 4 older kids graduating in May, and then I've got the little guy going in the fall. So, and it looks like we'll be able to get him into the 5-day program as well. So I'm really excited about that, because he needs some structure. He needs to be exercising the mind that he has. As far as activities go, I think that, I mean, otherwise it's been situation normal here as far as work goes. If you've been with me for a long time, you know, last spring when most of this got done was because I had an abnormal mammogram, and the waiting for the diagnostic ultrasound and everything else was hard to get through. And I just stitched, I think I put like 30,000 stitches in 3 weeks. I don't know, it was something crazy. 17,000 stitches in 3 weeks, I think, or 2 weeks. It was crazy. That is now back on the table again. I went for mammogram on Friday. Today is technically Sunday now, and got the report, and I have to go back in. So, I'm not as, like, panicky about it this time as I was last year. At least not for as long as I was. Last year, I had people, but I didn't really know how to reach out to those people. This year, I absolutely was like, this is happening and I am terrified and I don't know what to do. And I had people that were like, okay, what is the next steps? What are you okay? What can we do? That got me to where I could actually get through the panic and like think about it and be like, okay, look, it's Friday. I can't make any phone calls. There's nothing can be done at this point. So it's panicking is not going to help the situation at this point. I did a little bit more digging as far as the wording on the report goes, and it's probably benign, but they have to rule everything out. So here I am again. I'm really trying to focus the nervous energy on work, but it's very hard. The last couple of days, the focus has just completely gone out the window. I was getting like a build a day done, which is where I need to be. Now I'm back to like half a build a day, and it's just, I'm frustrated. I did not work today. I took Saturday off just to kind of mentally calm down a little bit. But I need to get back into that again. So good juju would be appreciated, because, even if it's nothing, the waiting to figure out if it's nothing really sucks. So, yeah, so that's where I am at the moment. I will definitely keep you guys posted as far as, I'm hoping to record again in 2 weeks. You know me, it can be a week, it can be 2.5 months. But yeah, I would appreciate you keeping me in your thoughts with that. So, not that I wanted to end this on a really note, but that's pretty much. I mean, that happened Friday. That's what happens. And then I recorded. So yeah, I will see you when I record again. Please enjoy the small snippet at the end of the video of the walk. Where I was going with my camping story was that, we hiked in, and it's like wooded and shady and nice, but when we walked out, they took their bikes and I walked the beach. I'm like, why did I not do this both years beforehand? It's a little harder to get the bikes out to the beach, but it was gorgeous. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and there was literally past 0 people. No, I passed 1 person on the way actually off the beach into the other camp. But it was gorgeous. It was partly cloudy, and you'll see in the video, it was like flocks of birds, and it was awesome. It was an awesome walkout. A really nice way to kind of close up the week that we had. Spring in the comments if you are interested in me passing the stash to you. I will ship worldwide. But like I said, make sure you fill out that Google form, because if I don't have your email address to match your YouTube name, you don't have to have a channel to have a YouTube name. Whatever shows up when you make a comment, that's your YouTube name. And then let me know if you're be interested in seeing things that I might UFO that still need to be finished. Other than that, enjoy your stitching time. Enjoy the people that you're with. Reach out if you need people. And I will see you in my next update. All right, take care, guys. Bye.